What's up, 7th grade? Mr. Agnos here. This is a homework help video. In this video, I'm going to do 2 problems from homework 4-3K. So this video will also help you with homework 4-3G. Okay, there goes my wife. She's very fast. She ran track in high school. Okay, so they want us to do 8.7 plus negative 7.4. So the idea here is we're going to break 8.7 apart to create a pair of additive inverses. So I'm going to write out what that might look like, and then I'll talk about why this works and why it makes sense. So 8.7, we're going to add 2 things together to get 8.7, and then we're going to add our negative 7.4. Okay. So this step, I compare it to making change, right? I go to the 7-Eleven with a $10 bill and I say, hey, can I have a 5 and 5 ones? They say, sure, because it's worth the same, right? So now imagine you go to 7-Eleven with an $8.7 bill and you say, hey, can I get change for my $8.7 bill? And we want to make sure that we get a $7.4 bill as one of our bills in return, because 7.4 is the additive inverse of negative 7.4. So now I just need to figure out, hey, what's this other number here? Well, 8.7 minus 7.4 will tell me what is remaining here. So you can use a calculator for that. It's going to be 1.3. So we give the clerk at 7-Eleven an $8.7 bill, and in return, they give us a $1.3 bill and a $7.4 bill. All right, now we're going to regroup. There goes a 7th grader, speaking of 7th graders. Now we're going to regroup this so that our additive inverses are next to each other. I'm still going to have my plus, my 1.3 plus, and now I'm just going to regroup. I'm going to do my 7.4 plus my negative 7.4. And I know I got a lot of parentheses here. It's okay to have parentheses inside parentheses. The reason I have them here is because of this negative sign. All right, so we learned in previous lessons that these numbers are what are called additive inverses. They sum to 0. When you have the, and I use the word same number, when you have the positive and negative version of a number, they're going to cancel each other out. They add to 0. So I can rewrite this whole thing as 1.3 plus 0, right? Because these are going to add to 0. Any number plus 0 is just itself, so my final answer in this case is 1.3. So I go up to my box. It says type an integer or a decimal. Well, our answer was a decimal, so we're going to type in 1.3 and hit enter. We got it. Okay, I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do number 5. It's another plant problem, I believe. All right, so this is the one where we plant the seed below the ground. It grows, and we want to figure out how much above the ground it is. All right, so it says, in her garden, Pam plants the seed 4 3/4 inches below the ground. So I'm going to stop there. I'll highlight that. Nope. All right, 4 3/4 inches below the ground. We can represent that using the number negative 4 3/4. Okay? And then to this number, we're going to add the amount that it grows. After 1 month, the tomato plant has grown a total of 12.5 inches. Not my tomato plants. I cannot grow tomatoes. They always get eaten. They always die because I forget to water them. So we're going to take negative 4 3/4 and we're going to add the amount that it grows. It grows 12.5 inches. Well, remember, some of that growth is occurring underground. And so the actual question we're trying to answer is, how many inches is the plant above the ground? So if we add these two together, we will know, hey, how far is it from the dirt to the top of the tomato plant? So I'm going to go ahead and convert these both into decimals, since 3/4 and 1/2 are easy to work with as decimals. I'm getting questions from my 5th grader. Isabel, please, I'm in the middle of the video.
Can I write it down?
No. All right. So I'm going to rewrite this as negative 4 3/4 is 0.75. So that's going to be negative 4.75 plus 12.5 is 12.5. Okay, now I want to create the additive inverse of negative 4.75. So I need to make change with my 12.5. 4.75 plus what will give me 12.5? So we're going to go ahead and rewrite that. Negative 4.75 plus, you guys can hear the yelling in the background, homeschooling, that's how it goes. 4.75 plus, all right, so 4.75 plus what will get me to 12.5? So let's go ahead and subtract these two. 12.5 minus 4.75. Let's see if I add 8. That's going to get me to 12.75. That's too much. So I believe this is 7.75. And again, you can use a calculator. Okay, the whole purpose of making change, of going from this number to these two numbers, right? Making change was to create this pair of additive inverses. I now have a negative 4.75 and a positive 4.75. So we're going to regroup. Negative 4.75 plus 4.75 on the left. All right, plus my 7.75. These are going to add to 0. So I get 0 plus 7.75. Any number plus 0 is just equal to itself. So our final answer is going to be 7.75 inches above the ground. It says, now always make sure how it wants the answer. It says type an integer, proper fraction, or mixed number. Okay, this is important because if I put in 7.75, watch what happens. It's going to mark it wrong, and I wish it didn't. See, it says, although your answer is equal to the correct answer, it is not in the correct form, right? So this is why it's so important to read the blue writing. They want it as a proper fraction or a mixed number. Well, 7.75 is easily converted to a mixed number. Remember, 0.75 is 3/4. So 7.75 is equal to 7 3/4. So that's how they want the answer. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to 7. And then for fractions, actually, you know what? I'm going to delete that. I have a bunch of stuff on the screen here, but if you look down at this button right here, they actually give you a mixed number button. It's kind of buried underneath some of my writing. But they actually give me a mixed number button. So I'm going to click on that. Click in the first blue box, put a 7, 3 on top, 4 on the bottom. Now I hit enter, and we got it. Okay, hopefully this video was helpful. Email me, ask me in class, or ask me in the comments if you have questions.